Hey guys, it's Rich, and this is day number 4 of the 77 question Witchy community tag. In this one, we're doing questions number 34 through 44. And as usual, you can find the list of questions on Christo-Paganism.com. There's a link right here, as well as a card that if you're viewing it on a desktop, I'm still not sure if you can see it on the mobile devices, but there's a card right over here if you are viewing on the desktop. So you can click that at any time to go to Christo-Paganism.com. You can see the list of questions there, and I will be uploading the videos to there as well. Question number 34 is, what are some ways that you keep yourself grounded? Now, I did a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but basically I do the standard roots growing out of your feet into the earth, and you can check out that video on grounding by clicking right here. It's with the Christo-Pagan series, so if you haven't seen that video already, go ahead and click there. So that's available to you. Question number 35 is, have you ever had a spell go horribly wrong? I haven't had a spell go horribly wrong. I did this spell that I would find whoever was right for me at that moment in time, that I would find somebody that I could connect with at that moment in time. And I should have been a little bit more specific, because it actually ended up teaching me a lesson about self-respect, about keeping my money to me and being respectful of myself and not caving into somebody else so easily. It's about gaining that personal strength. So for me, that spell didn't really go horribly wrong. It just didn't go in the manner that I expected it to go. So, again, not horribly wrong, but just diverted to something else that I needed to learn. Question number 36. What are your opinions on initiation rituals? The way that I see initiation rituals is that you are coming into a practice, a tradition of sorts, and that you are really going to put your nose down into the books and study and know what it all means to you. It's really a way of starting your magical practice. So for me, initiation rituals are fairly important, at least the way that I see them. It's a way of saying, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be on this practice as long as if it makes me feel whole. So for me, initiation rituals are important. So, yeah, that's my answer for that one. Number 37, have you ever had full contact with your deity? If so, what happened? Now, if this is to say that you have physically contacted your deity, as in touching them or them touching you, I've not had that experience. If this is in reference to an invocation, I have also not had that experience, because as far as I go, I don't invoke into myself. For me, there's only room enough for me. And the way that I invoke deity is invoking deity into an aspect, an effigy of sorts, invoking them into that effigy and envisioning them embodying that effigy. So whenever I invoke Christ, I will invoke Christ into him on the cross, basically. Not saying that I'm putting him into a world of pain by nailing him back up onto the cross, not by any means, but to give him a representation, a presence in my practice, in my ritual. So that's how I invoke deity. I will say, however, that I have had the instances of sensing deity, knowing that deity is present in what I'm doing or present in that very moment in time, sensing that somebody is there and they are with me, they are guiding me in a way. I've had that experience, and I have that quite often. But that's the only way that I've actually had contact with deity, is through the sensing of them being there. But then again, I'm also more clairsentient than anything, so yeah, between clairsentient and claircognizant, that's basically my top two. I'm not very visual, and I'm not very auditory whenever it comes to either deity or spirits. So for me, yeah, sensing and knowing that they're there is something that's very real to me. That's the way that I contact deity, or come in contact with deity, or them coming in contact with me. Question number 38. What about you is unwitchy? Wow, there are so many things about me that are unwitchy, but in some aspect, way, shape, or form, I am also witchy in my unwitchiness. My unwitchy aspects would probably be whenever I'm, as some of my friends will call me, and this is not for the ears of children, an inconsiderate asshole. And I have the sign to prove it. It was left on the back of my car. There are times, and there are a lot of times, whenever I just give people the brush off, that I don't really care about their feelings, how they want me to act, or how I should act in that moment. I don't really act in those ways. Sometimes I think of it more because I constantly try to keep myself shielded and guarded from certain people's emotions, their ideas or ideals. So for me, that's one reason that I have that unwitchy quality. Another reason is because I'm in the military, and sometimes you just gotta be hard. You have that tough skin, especially in the maintenance career field that I'm in. It's pretty safe to say that if anybody in my career field, or in the maintenance career field in general, knew that I sat at home, knitted, talked about goddess spirituality or earth-based spirituality, and was a homosexual, that would give them a lot of firepower for attacking me in one way, shape, or form or another. So I therefore keep myself very guarded, and it comes off kind of like an inconsiderate asshole. Sometimes it's charming though. Some people really enjoy that, because I'm quite funny sometimes with it. Even though I have a very dry sense of humor, I find it quite funny. So, yeah. Some people might find me as abrasive, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to have a certain attitude to get, for one, your point across, and for two, to get things done, just to be able to keep your head above water and survive in this day-to-day life. So yeah, I have those times when I'm very unwitchy, very inconsiderate of others and their emotions, their attitudes, what's going on with them. I actually told one guy, I said, when we are in the office, we can be friends, and we can talk about issues that go on at home and whatnot. I said, but whenever we're out on a job, when we're out doing maintenance work, and I tell you to do something, it has to get done. And quite frankly, at that point, I really don't care about what's going on in your life. The mission needs to get done, the job needs to get done, and I'm going to rely on you to do that at that moment. So I can turn that switch on and off fairly quickly with other people. It's kind of hard to do it with myself, but I try to do it as much as possible. Turning that switch on and off, sometimes you just need to be that hard-nosed person. Question number 39. For the dating witch, how do you tell a new love interest that you are a witch? I tell them straight up front within probably the first couple times that we message one another. I meet a lot of guys online, and I mention it fairly quickly because of a past relationship and because of knowing that some people aren't really comfortable with it. So for me, it was very much a decision that I made a couple years ago, that whenever I meet somebody, I tell them up front that I am not going to hide this part of my life from you. It's not something that I'm going to keep quiet or push into the broom closet with the one person that I should be the most open with in life. I want to have you not necessarily be part of my religion or of my faith, but I want you to be respectful of my faith. And if that's not something that you can do, then we don't have anything further to talk about. But also, if it is something that you're interested in, I'm more than willing to talk to you about it. So I made that conscious decision quite a while ago, at least a few years ago, to make it a point that up front I tell them who I am and what I'm about. I will also say that I am also single, so in no way am I an expert on dating. It's something that's pretty foreign to me for the most part. Question number 40. Who is a past witch that has inspired you, famous or not? As past witch, do you mean somebody who has died? In that aspect, I can't say that I have anybody who has really inspired me in the way that I define inspired. I have a list of people who have taught me, and that list is enormous and contain various people. But as far as a witch who has passed, no, I don't know any who have passed away and inspired me. If this is meaning witches from your past, such as ones that you once knew, that is a list that's a little bit easier to come up with. Inspirations have come from, of course, you guys know Annie. She has inspired me to ask the question why, as well as so many other things. A very dear friend. Also, my friend Carol, who used to own the local witchy shop down in Wichita, Kansas that I mentioned before. She has basically inspired me to own my faith in whatever way, shape, or form that it takes. She was one of the first ones that said, yes, you can be a Christian and a witch. It's really pretty simple. So she has inspired me to come up with my own faith in the way that it makes sense to me and to own it in its own way. So yes, I have some close friends that are from my past and still in my present that have inspired me. And just as a little mention, a little sidebar, Kara is a witch that has inspired me to make videos. If it wasn't for her early videos, especially, I would not have probably started making videos for YouTube. I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I'd basically be cloistered in my own ways of trying to think through things. YouTube has opened up a community to me, and if I didn't find one of her videos, I'd basically see YouTube as a place for music videos and funny videos of gorillas. I never thought of YouTube as an educational source, and once I saw her video, I was opened up to a whole new world of experiences. So she is a witch that has inspired me to do videos and to watch videos and be part of this witchy community on YouTube. Question 41. How do you handle rejection from a fellow witch that refuses to do a reading or a spell for you? I really don't have a problem with another witch refusing to do a spell or a reading for me. Basically because I do most of my readings for myself. I'm one of those people that have no problem whatsoever doing a reading for myself. I know there are some people out there who they can give very accurate, very wonderful tarot readings to others, or oracle readings to others, rune readings to others, but they can't do it for themselves. Psychics and mediums who are able to connect with spirits of other peoples, however, are not able to connect with spirits that are connected to themselves, or even people that are close to them. I'm one of those people that I can do a reading for myself fairly accurately, and as far as spell work, I've never really asked another person to do a spell for me. I am more than willing to do a spell for other people, depending on what it is. And if I refuse to do a spell for another person, I will also tell them why I refuse to do that. And I will also tell them how they can do it themselves if I think they need help with doing it. And one instance would be if somebody asked me to do a love spell for them to connect them with a certain person. I would tell them, no, I'm not doing a love spell for you to connect with some other person, because that would take away from that person's free will. And I won't tell them how to do a love spell to have the other person come to them, because, again, free will. I don't like to mess with it. Not to that extent. Free will, to a certain extent, has to be violated. And I'll talk more about that in another video, because I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with. And it's something that I struggle with too. But I will tell them of different spells or different ways that they can open up themselves to the love of another person, or to help draw in somebody that is meant for them. So I will help them in that aspect, but I will not tell them, hey, here's a spell for you to get Johnny to like you. And I will not do a spell like that. Very much a line that I draw. Question number 42. Do you think it is necessary to cast a circle when you do spell work or any magical working? This one is both a yes and no. There are times whenever I cast a circle, and there are times that I do not cast a circle in any way, shape, or form. There are times whenever just the mere act of thinking and doing a little energy work is considered to me to be spell work. And that happens at any point in time in my life. So I don't cast circles in that time. And then there are times whenever I do a full-blown ritual that is pretty much ceremonial in its aspects. So yeah, I do cast circles in those times, and I kind of usually reserve those times for either the holidays, for doing ritual for the holidays, or for the big spells, I guess you would say. The little ones of, burning an affirmation, just a little affirmation, for me doesn't always need to have a circle cast. But if I'm burning an affirmation with herbs and incense, and I'm calling on deity, and I'm asking for the help of deities, the help of ancestors, the help of different elemental energies, in that aspect, I will probably, most likely, cast a circle. Usually whenever I cast a circle, it's because I have deity being present, and we do some intimate work where I open up to deity, kind of pour my heart and soul out to them, and then at that aspect, I don't want anything that is not, I guess you would say, a positive energy. I don't want anything that is not a positive energy to come into my circle. So in those times, I very much believe that casting a circle is needed, at least for my practice. Question number 43. If Steven Spielberg called and wanted to make a movie of your life, who would you want to play as you? Oh dear. Oh dear. Who would I want to play me? Ugh. That's a very tough question. I've never really given it much thought, and I really don't think Steven Spielberg would want to do a movie on me. My life doesn't seem that interesting. And it also should be said, as with news and politics and all that stuff, I really don't keep up with movie stars. I don't keep up with actors and what goes on in their lives and who they are and even what their names are. I know certain people from different movies, and I see them in different movies here and there, but I can't always remember what their name is. Now, some of the big names out there, like Jack Nicholson, Morgan Freeman, people like that have been around forever, yeah, those people I know. But as far as somebody that is around my age that would play me, no clue. However, one comes to mind right now that if at a younger age would probably be closer to somebody that I would want to play me in a movie. And that would be either Anthony Hopkins or Sean Connery. And even though I'm in no way English or Scottish, I'm pretty certain those would be the ones that would be able to play me the best. Probably Anthony Hopkins. I absolutely adore him. I'm actually a Hannibal Lecter fan. I usually, once a year, watch all of the Hannibal Lecter movies out there. There's actually also, I saw on Hulu, they're doing a series called, I think it's Cooking with Hannibal or something like that. So I kind of want to watch that. And there's also a series called Hannibal that was done by Hulu that I have not really watched all of them, but the first couple episodes that I watched was absolutely fascinating. So if you're a Hannibal Lecter fan, please reach out, because I would totally love to get your take on those TV series. Like I said, usually about once a year I watch all of the movies all the way through in the order that they're supposed to be watched in. So, absolutely a huge fan of Anthony Hopkins in that aspect. And I will say, as a side note to that as well, that I'm kind of disappointed that in Hannibal Rising that we didn't see him. Just saying. Question number 44. What is some advice that was given to you that you pass along because it made an impact on your path? Oh boy, there's so much. One that I would actually say is from Annie, and that's the why behind what you do. Know the reason that you're doing it. Another one, which is fairly common, is the whatever works for you, and that's been passed down from several people to me. Another one is also from Annie, and it's basically give it time. Whenever dealing with deity and not being able to connect with deity, which is the first question in the next video, give it time. So I'll actually speak more to that in that video. But giving things time to come to fruition, not rushing it, because after all, it's not a race. There's no mastering your practice to the utmost. There's always room for improvement. So that to me is why I call it a practice. I don't call it a path. A path has an ending, but a practice is something that you continuously work at. So for me, give it time, the why behind what you do, and whatever works for you. Those would be the things that I pass on to another person, no matter what their faith is. So, yeah. So that's it for this video of the 77 question Witchy community tag. If you'd like to see the questions in their entirety, go ahead and go to Christo-Paganism.com. If you are not subscribed to me, go ahead and click subscribe right above my head. And if you'd like to stalk me on Twitter for some inspirational stuff, to just see about my daily life, or to contact me in any way, shape, or form, you can go to Twitter and contact me through there. Also, in the bottom bar you will see the email address that I use for Christo-Paganism.com, so if you have any questions, go ahead and email them to me. I will be doing Stitch and Witch vlogs of different people's questions that come in, so yeah, go ahead and have those questions come in. And I think that's basically all that I have, so until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.